feeling presented here today that school crossing patrollers do far more than help people cross the road. Patrollers play an important role in teaching children how to cross the road safely. The service is particularly valued as children begin to assert their independence and walk to school unaccompanied. As for driving behaviour, the mere presence of a patroller encourages motorists to slow down around our schools. It's an obvious deterrent to poor driving and bad parking. The patrollers are well-respected members of the school community. They are reassuring and a popular presence around the school. Air pollution and obesity are massive issues in the UK, and discouraging families from walking to school by breaking these relationships is a needless backward step. In my ward of Norreys, 2 crossings are affected. One is on Norreys Avenue. The junction where the patroller operates is complicated. Those trying to cross have to watch several different routes at once. This is not easy for younger children. My residents say that having someone there who prioritises pedestrians who might not get noticed otherwise is extremely valuable. The other affected area in my ward is Keep Patch Road. In this instance, the patroller operates from the south side of a roundabout where visibility is good. The proposal is to place a zebra crossing on the north side of this roundabout. My residents can clearly see that this is unsafe. A recent road safety audit noted the increased likelihood of vehicle-pedestrian collisions due to the lack of visibility at the zebra crossing site and proximity to the roundabout. In this case, the only obvious solution is the retention of a school crossing patroller on the south side of that roundabout. So why is the safeguarding of Wokingham's children being put at risk in this way? The simple answer is, of course, the massive cut in revenue support grant that Wokingham and other local authorities across the country are facing. We see the impact of these cuts every day in the potholes and dirty street signs and uncut grass all over the borough, and now we see it in the axing of school crossing patrollers. But these visible issues are the tip of the iceberg where children are concerned. The hidden effects of Conservative austerity in this country should shame us all. The effect on children in care, cuts in school funding, health services, the underfunding of child protection services, putting the safety of our most vulnerable children at risk. And the worst is yet to come. We're experiencing death by 1,000 cuts in this country, and this is the latest example right here in Wokingham. It's a move with an obvious detrimental impact on children's safety and well-being, directly caused by Conservative policy. For these reasons, I call on the Executive, on behalf of my residents, to abandon its proposal to remove school crossing patrollers in Norreys and across the borough.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've met abusive and aggressive drivers outside the Cooley School at the pedestrian crossing there, and for Councillor Pollock to actually make an assumption really that all drivers are saints and obey the law and stop the minute the light goes red, I think is a fallacy. The real world is nothing like that. He must go a different way than through School Road and Arborfield. Traffic enforcement officers are few and far between, and we don't really see them at the schools at sufficient amounts of time to actually deal with the issues that, although it's not their responsibility, that the school crossing patrollers or the lollipop ladies, as referred to in the first question here, are referred to. They play a very, very important role in our society and in our community, and they're held in high esteem. You can see that by the number of questions here and the number of people who signed this petition. Well, I'll refer to this in more than one time, but the Woking Borough News, which I recently got from the leader of the council, at the local elections in May, you sent us a clear message. We heard that message, and I want to reassure you that we are acting on your concerns. This is a classic case to act on the concerns of residents. If there's to be any sort of vote, I would ask that we record the vote, so at least the residents here will see what goes on. They can take it back to the residents and they can tell them how this council functions. Hopefully they'll make the right decision. Thank you.
Angus Ross.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wasn't intending originally to speak on this, but very definitely the concerns have been outlined, and I think some of the benefits that are seen of signalised crossings has been well brought out by my colleagues. The word used by Councillor Burgess about deterrent. A number of schools around the borough have 20-mile-an-hour signalling during school start and finish time. And I would just suggest that as an added measure to support safety at our schools, that this is looked at as an option in addition to what we're talking about here, where it is appropriate. I know schools like the one at Bearwood Road and others have this, and it seems to work very well in warning traffic as it's approaching a school crossing place, and the speed is immediately reduced, adding to the safety. Thank you.
Helen Powell.
Thank you. Lots has been said already on this evening. I'd just like to make 2 points on safety. Councillor Jarvis mentioned that drivers jump red lights. I do wonder, therefore, wouldn't they jump the lights at the pedestrian crossing? So there's an issue of safety there. Also, I'd just like to ask the Royal Society for the Prevention of Accidents guidelines on pedestrian policy clearly state that all new installations should be subject to both user and road safety audits in accordance with appropriate guidelines. Have the council published the recent safety audits they've carried out? I haven't seen them. And are you certain that these crossings meet all the standards necessary to install several crossings? Thank you.
Anthony Pollock.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Appropriate, I can answer to you as yes, safety audits have been undertaken at all the sites, and they are all in accordance with national guidelines. I sent them round.
Can you just let...
I sent them round to every local member who had a crossing in their ward, so I particularly did it to ward members. The other bit, Gary talked about Queen's School in Arborfield, which he didn't fail to mention. It has a chicane, road humps and a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit in it as well, so I don't think anyone's going to go down that road particularly fast. The other bit, some talk about jumping lights. I think there's a very big difference, jumping lights at an ordinary traffic junction and jumping lights with children on a crossing. I don't think people do the latter. Big issue here, I think, is that we believe that the installation of the fixed crossings will be safer. I'm happy to meet with you in your school and look at your situation particularly, but my own view is that these fixed crossings will be safer for children and for residents. We did do a little bit of digging on accident statistics on the schools that we took crossing patrols away from last year, and actually the number of accidents has gone down, not up. And also, I would say, the number of accidents outside schools involving children going to school is exceptionally low in Wokingham. So let's keep this in perspective. I do believe that what we're seeking to do is safer. We are fulfilling something that we started under the Blair Brown Labour government, where I had the highways brief about 15 years ago. We spent about £2 million installing these sorts of crossings outside schools across the borough. And the other aspect around the safety of patrollers, I remember during that time there were 2 patrollers that actually it was too dangerous for them to step onto the ground. One in Road in Early and one at Bearwood. And so we had to remove them and we put crossings in instead. And like some of my colleagues have said, with the increase in the traffic and increase in children, I believe this is a safe solution to safer routes to school for our children.
Could you just find out, please? Okay. I'm going to ask for a proposal. He's caught my eye, I'm afraid. Sorry? Yes. Oh, sorry. I apologise. And then you've got 3 minutes in which to reply. I'm sorry, we're out of time. 30 minutes.
Thank you. I have listened to the debate with interest. A couple of points come up. I applaud you for taking your child across the road safely, holding their hands. What will you do if you have 3 or 4 children one day? Then it does become I struggle with 2, because frankly outside the school of Murray Road, when you're holding a child in each hand, it's extremely narrow and it's very difficult. And sorry, I fundamentally disagree. I think on Murray Road, a permanent crossing will not be safer than the existing setup of the school crossing controller. And maybe that's something you need to come before a decision is made at our setting and see for yourself. And I wonder how many people in this room have actually been to some of these sites, not necessarily just on Friday afternoon, but over the course of a week. Come in the morning, come after school, see how challenging it is for those of us trying to get our children safely across that road. But the bottom line from everything I've heard today is that it seems to come down to money. And I understand that we are in a time of austerity enforced by the Conservative government, and that budgets are tight, and that you need to find places to reduce your money. But I'm not asking you to cut the grass outside at the park outside my house more regularly. I am asking you to spend money making sure that my child and the children at the setting I'm here representing tonight are safe on their journeys to and from school. Thank you. If you don't mind.
One of the reasons that I actually ask people on double yellow lines to move is so that those drivers who have disabled badges are able to park. And because I ask it in that way, it is very hard to say no to me. Okay, we will have gridlock on Murray Road if we have any other form of crossing other than a lump lady, because you've got the barriers. I don't think that without looking at the crossing you can understand that you've got double bottleneck. You've got a bottleneck from the people. The narrowest point on the other side of the road for the pavement is 1.23 metres. You cannot get a double buggy and another buggy through at that point. So they're in danger, and they're having to get onto the road just to overtake each other. I'm curious as to the survey carried out, because I'm sorry, but the one that I believe was carried out in April last year, criteria for justifying pedestrian crossing, I've got the thing at the bottom which says, under the justification criteria outlined in section 6, this location does not require a pedestrian facility. So I would like to see your figures. That's not too cheap.
Okay, so I believe we have a proposal. Do you have a seconder? Do you have a seconder?
Yes, I do. Yep. Rachel.
Okay. Now, you want to record your vote on this? I believe.
Yes.
Councillor Craig.
There isn't a debate now. It's fascinating to show. It's similar.
I understood that there was no one was supposed to speak to the motion. Just a proposal. Mr. Mayor, may I make a point of order?
You may.
The Labour motion as it stands is actually inaccurate and is not what the council is proposing. We are proposing to remove the school crossing patrollers once safe crossings have been built to replace them. So therefore, this is not actually what we are proposing, so we cannot vote either for or against it.
Just let me check that out. Members, I've been advised by officers that we have to take this motion as it is written. So if you would like to stand up and make your motion.
I don't get to speak on it.
There's no debate.
There's no debate.
The motion is this. This council will abandon its proposal to remove school crossing patrol services at 7 locations across the borough at the end of this academic year, that is July 2018.
I'm sorry, there's no debate there.
No, I wasn't in a
The point of order is...
Yeah, could I ask a question, please?
Yes.
I don't quite understand how to vote on this one, because I can't vote in favour of this motion because that's not the proposal that we have. So therefore, I'm at a bit of a loss. I don't see how anybody can vote in favour of that because the proposal that we have is not what it says on the paper.
I'm advised, Councillor Wilson, that it's what the petition is asking for. That's my advice. Okay, so can we go to the vote on this? You want a recorded vote? Okay. All those in favour?
Ask a recorded vote.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I'm now taking the recording of the vote on the proposal from Councillor Croy as read out. So please vote for or against when your names are read out. Councillor Baker.
Against.
Bath.
Against.
Blumenthal.
Against.
Bowring.
Against.
Bray. Burgess. Cheng.
Against.
Cowan.
For.
Croy. Delinsky.
Against.
Duran.
For.
Ferris.
For.
Grandison.
Against.
Haynes.
Against.
Hayden Taylor.
Against.
Horsell. Hare.
For.
Hobbs. Holton.
Against.
Howard.
Against.
Jarvis.
Against.
Jorgensen N.
Against.
Jorgensen P.
Against.
Kaiser.
Same.
King.
Against.
Lois. Against. Marquez. McGee Sumner.
Against.
Mylan.
Against.
Murphy.
Against.
Monroe.
Against.
Patman.
Against.
Pollock.
Against.
Power. Richards.
Against.
Ross.
Against.
Sargent.
Against.
Shepherd Boy, aye.
4.
Shepherd Boy, R.
4.
Slight.
Against.
Smith, C.
Against.
Smith, W.
Against.
Soane.
Abstain.
Wicks.
Against.
Whittle.
Against.
Eunice.
Against.
The proposal has been defeated.
The proposal has been defeated. Have I proposed another proposal?
Mr. Mayor, I've got another, Mr. Mayor, I've got another motion of proposal. If I can
Have you a second then?
We'd like a recorded vote.
I'd like to see a copy of it, please. Thank you. Okay, would you like to stand and read your proposal?
The Council recognises the importance of safe routes to school. The Council implemented a policy between 2003 and 2008 using grants provided by the previous Labour government to remove school crossing controllers and replace them with various schemes including zebra, toucan and pelican crossings. These types of crossings are inherently safe since they provide pedestrian car management systems which are recognised by both pedestrians and motorists 24 hours a day, and not just when children are being walked to and from school. Therefore, this Council will continue with its capital programme to improve road safety in the vicinity of schools by building new zebra, toucan or pelican crossings as appropriate, in accordance with the safety audits undertaken by independent road safety experts. These new crossings will replace the remaining school crossing controllers when they are completed and provide a safer environment as demonstrated by the independent safety audits for children walking to and from school. We recognise the fantastic contribution made by our school crossing controllers who have given their time to this role over the years and extend our heartfelt thanks for their sterling service to our community. However, we cannot support the action that the petitioner requests, and we ask the Executive to take Council's view into account when making this decision.
Thank you very much. You've been requested a name vote again, so if you could, Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am now recording for or against the proposal made by Councillor Pollock. Councillor Baker.
4.
Bath. 4. Blumenthal.
4.
Bowring.
4.
Bray.
Though I do recognise the fantastic contribution made by our school crossing patrollers, against.
Burgess.
Against.
James.
4. Sorry, got to speak.
Against.
Croy.
What precinct? Against?
Galinsky.
4.
Duran.
Against.
Ferris.
Against.
Grandison.
4.
Haynes M.
4.
Hayden Taylor. Hare.
Against.
Hobbs. Holton.
4.
Howe.
4.
Jarvis.
4.
Jorgensen N.
4.
Jorgensen P.
4.
Hazer.
Stay.
King.
4.
Noyes.
4.
McGee Sumner.
4.
Meyer.
4.
Murphy.
4.
Monroe.
4.
Hatman.
4.
Pollock.
4.
Power. Richards.
4.
Ross.
4.
Sergeant.
4.
Shepherd Way. Aye.
This motion is supported. Against.
Shepherd Way. R.
Against, and I also think this message is important.
No, please, just your
Slides.
vote. 4.
Sorry. Smith. C.
4.
Smith W.
4.
Stone.
Same.
Weeks.
4.
Whittle.
4.
Hughes.
4.
Proposal is carried.
Members, the proposal is carried. Thank you very much. Okay, we move on to number 22. Hopefully will be softer. Mayor's announcement. Basically, I've got no announcement to make other than it's my intention to launch the Mayor's role. I'm sorry, if you've been asking questions, you can leave. Sorry, I'm getting carried away with myself. Thank you. Anthony. Thank you very much.
Keep smiling.
Thank you. And if you could just, so we can carry on the meeting. Thank you very much. Okay, on to something a bit lighter. Tonight I'm launching the Roll of Honour Awards to recognise people who make an outstanding contribution in their community. Each month, myself and my Deputy Mayor will select a worthy winner from those people nominated by members, people and residents of the borough. There will be a children's and adult category, and each winner will receive a lapel badge and a scroll to mark their achievement. Wokingham Borough is full of fantastic people that make our community special, and I want to recognise those contributions. I am looking for people who make that extra effort for others, maybe fostering, volunteering or being a carer. There are many thousands of such people out there, and we need to hear about them. For children and young people, I would like to hear about them that have overcome adversity. Any borough resident can be nominated for the award. To nominate, all you have to do is to go onto the Mayor's email. Nominations which can be made by any resident in the borough It should be no longer than 200 words, which set out why the nominee should be considered for the award. For the Children's Award, outstanding achievements such as sports or art will also be considered. The awards will be given out monthly, and the first awards will be presented at the September full council meeting. Thank you. We'd like to move on to 23, which is the shared desk with the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead. Who's proposing it? And seconded by? Would you like to speak, Laura?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to propose the recommendation as this brings a great opportunity. Separating out the role of Director of People Services to Director of Children's Services and Director of Adult Services makes complete sense. Both are hugely important areas for all our residents, but they also bring very different challenges. Having a committed person focused on each directorate, so we'll bring an opportunity for an absolute expert in each area, will drive up standards for our residents. Standing still and doing the same old thing is not what this council is about. And it can't be what this council is about. Now's the time for innovation, for partnerships, for being brave. The Royal Borough of Windsor Maidenhead has a similar demographic to us and indeed similar challenges. So a shared Director of Adult Services with them makes absolute sense. I'd like to stress that the trial period is for nine months, which is a perfect time to gauge what impact this has made. So I'd ask you to support the recommendation.
Richard, and seconder, would you like to speak or reserve your?
I'll reserve my right.
Okay, now who else would like to speak on this? Easy first. Anthony Pond. Okay. Gary.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's more a case of trying to get an understanding of what it all really means. On page 35, the member made reference to the fact it was for 9 months, but then you find the next bit facing severe financial challenges, as council does, and there's costings there for £250,000. If it was for 9 months, I wouldn't have thought it was necessary for financial year 2 and 3 to be part of the document. And so it's just I would like that clarified. And then it links, I'm pretty certain, to agenda item 24, which talks about the 5 Berkshire authorities. We may talk about the same thing, and the SDHP is based in Royal Borough, Windsor Maidenhead, with a core team based in Bracknell Forest, carrying out specialist duties. All reads very, very well. Till you turn over the page and you find, since there's been a number of changes of personnel, Bracknell Forest have appointed their own Director of Public Health, so there's no longer taking part in this joint arrangement. What is not clear is where are the staff coming from now? Is it all connected, or what is the connection? I can't get my head around what it means. And then they give references to 31, 31 and 31k over the next 3 years. So I think the two are connected, but I can't work out the connections, and I can't see the implications of the financial implications of one or the other, and the staffing as well. Thank you.
Our group is prepared to accept this recommendation. There's a trial period of 9 months, and we're quite prepared to see whether an innovative idea might work. There are issues about recruiting. I was on the personnel board associated with the person that's mentioned or not mentioned, although we've all received an email today. So I think we have a potential of a very good person to lead it. So from a trial perspective, we're willing to support. However, we have the caveat that we want to see what comes out of the trial, hence why you have a trial. There are issues about costing. There will be issues about making sure that we as Wokingham Borough Council get our fair due and make sure we get the resources appropriate, and all the other issues associated that will run in a trial. So whilst we can support the trial, we hold fire to see what actually happens, but I think it's okay to do so.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wasn't going to speak on this matter, but I just wanted to clarify a point that Councillor Cowan made. My colleague, Councillor Blumenthal, made it very clear that it is going to be a 9-month trial. The reason why we put the savings in for 3 years is to give members an indication of what the savings could be over that period. So it's not prescribing that it's going to be any more than 9 months. 9 months is the trial.
Thank you for clarifying that. Anthony Foy.
Yes, I've worked quite a bit with Wilson Maker over the last year in my role as chairman of the Optus Holding Company, and as has been said, their views and values are very similar to ours, and I believe that this will be a very good trial and a very good appointment.
Thank you. Mr. Delinsky, do you wish to take the opportunity to speak?
Okay. I welcome the comments from our Liberal colleagues. Yes, we all know the economic landscape has had a significant impact on how authorities deliver adult social care, especially as there has been an increase in the complex requirements of an ageing population and those with learning difficulties. As a consequence, it is clear that maintaining the status quo is not the answer. Hence, making bold decisions, as my colleague Councillor Blumenthal highlighted, which deliver alternative models, including new shared management arrangements, work streams that are essential if we are to meet the demand, the growing demand. Sharing services and management across public sector bodies is not new. The LGA and the King's Fund provide examples where successful partnerships are already in place. In many cases, sharing has been seen as an opportunity for service growth, adapting best practice, providing opportunities to redesign services to better meet the needs of users, and to provide opportunities to implement new ways of working. And I actually witnessed that last week, where councils, no matter what colour they are, were actually embarking on those journeys, Liberals, Labour and Conservative councils. An appointment of a joint DAS provides new ways of working together and also strengthens our relationship with the Royal Borough and Optalis. I recommend the appointment to members.
I'm sorry, point of order, Mr. Mayor. I believe that, Councillor Pollock has just disclosed he is a director of Optalis. This person is employed by Optalis. He should have declared some form of interest relating to this item.
I think you find they are currently not employed by Optalis, even though they have been in the past.
Can you confirm that is the situation, Anthony?
As I said, I believe the person is actually currently employed by Wiltshire and Maidenhead, because you can't have a DAS currently employed by Optalis, so in order to appoint a DAS.
Sorry.
So she is not currently employed by Optalis. Therefore, I don't think I have a conflict of interest.
Thank you. Thank you for clearing that up. Laura Blumenthal, proposal, would you now like to speak?
I'd just like to say if Gary or anyone else would want anything clarified for the proposal, we're very happy to do that.
Thank you. Okay. Members, we take this to the vote. All those in favour, show. Okay, that motion is carried. Thank you. Number 24, Strategic Director of Public Health for Berkshire. Proposed by Richard Gillespie. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Can I have a second this time?
Yeah, sort of.
Yes, I guess. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The most fundamental duty of a Director of Public Health are set out in law. These statutory functions translate into everyday practice, including shaping local needs and priorities from area to area and over time. We as elected members must look to senior officers for public health leadership, expertise and advice on a range of issues, from outbreaks of disease and emergency preparedness through to improving local people's health and concerns around access to health services. Therefore, I recommend that members agree to the appointment letter from Public Health England be signed by Woking Borough Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Seconder, would you like to speak or reserve?
We can all forget how important Strategic Director of Public Health role is. We go about our normal lives and oblivious most of the time that there's a person and their team working behind the scenes, protecting us all from infectious diseases, planning for emergencies across the whole of Berkshire, and making sure crucial information gets to us all. In many ways, they're a modern-day superhero, albeit with not so much of a snappy name. Therefore, I welcome Tessa Linfield stepping into this hugely important role.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak? No? Okay. Members, we'll take this to the vote. Those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. 25. Health and Wellbeing Board Annual Reports. Thank you all again, Richard.
Are you going to ask for a seconder?
Yes, seconder.
Catch it. Try and catch it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm delighted to bring this report to Council as it highlights the strong health and social care and community partnerships enjoyed in our borough. Central is the work of the Health and Wellbeing Board in reducing health inequalities and to improve the overall health and well-being of residents. The board strategy has been designed around 4 main priorities: enabling and empowering resilient communities, promoting and supporting good mental health, delivering personal-centred integrated services, and reducing health inequalities in our borough, for example in our built environment, hence developing the influence of planning and enforcement, also working with voluntary groups to help shape access for all. This report highlights the many challenges presented, none more so than the rise in demand versus funding, something that has been mentioned many a time. However, it also highlights the many achievements, for example the pooled local better care fund, which has delivered encouraging delayed transfer of care, sometimes known as DTOC. In Woking, for 2017 and 18, we exceeded planned performance by 4% and is one of the best performing in the country. This clearly demonstrates our systems not only works in collaboration with our partners, but also delivers for the benefit of our residents, whilst at the same time, which won't surprise any of you, our improved Better Care Fund is one of the lowest in England. I encourage all members to note the report and consider how they may support the work of the Health and Wellbeing Board. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All right. Seconder, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Reading this report, one thing really stands out: successful engagement with our residents. I'd like to put on record that this council's community engagement team has done a fantastic job. By embedding team members within local communities, they can tailor what they deliver to those local residents' needs. The span of what they do is huge, from training to employment to health activities to getting the community together to address particular issues themselves. Whatever that area needs, it gets delivered because this council is listening. There is no blanket prescription here. There are so many different needs across this borough. Offering holistic solutions gets results. It must be highlighted that the community engagement team are social butterflies as well. They've been at countless fun days and school fairs. They've provided free health checks on stores across the borough, done talks for older people to bolster physical activity, and worked closely with football clubs to help build on the great work they're already doing for local people. What is also clear in this report is that this council is really beginning to value the local voluntary sector like never before, working closer together to benefit all our residents. This report shows that this council is listening to communities, making them feel safer, more supported and healthier. I support the recommendation.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Mary Catherine.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Health and Wellbeing Board encompasses a large number of bodies within Wokingham. The task of ensuring that objectives of the Health and Wellbeing Board are effectively in influencing the various bodies that are represented on the board is dependent on the attendance at the meetings of the various representatives and the expectation that they will be carrying forward the health and wellbeing proposals back to their partners. This is by no means an easy task. When you look at the report in front of you, you will see all the bodies involved in the delivery of services across the borough. You will realise that an enormous number of people are working to achieve improved services within the borough, including the voluntary sector, whose work is involved in delivering services that enhance the effectiveness of the Health and Wellbeing Board within the borough. The interface with the Community Safety Partnership means that the recommendations of the board can be passed over to the emergency services sector, including police, fire, the judiciary and probation service. The wide scope of the topics within this report show how much work is required to achieve results.
Thank you. Richard, have you anything else to say? Would you like to take it straight to the vote?
Take it straight to the vote, Mr. Mayor.
Members, all those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. Okay, item 26 on the agenda, religious education revised syllabus. So Rosa, second unit. Have you a seconder?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would like to propose item 26. Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm delighted to propose item 26, which is the revised syllabus for Standing Advisory Council on Religious Education, commonly known as SACRI. The current syllabus covers a period for 2012 to 2017 and therefore needs to be reviewed and revised syllabus produced for September 2018. This review was conducted through the PAN Berkshire Hub and led by a specialist RD advisor who was commissioned to lead this process. Teachers and faith representatives have been consulted and their input fed into the revisions. The syllabus has been drafted and discussed at SACRI meetings with the involvement of the RD advisor and the local authority officer. The final version is now being submitted to the council for approval. I think at this time it's worth noting the extensive work which has gone into producing this revised syllabus by teachers, faith representatives, SACRI members, RD advisor and the LA officer. I would like to thank each one of them for their hard work and hundreds of combined voluntary hours that has gone into producing this excellent document. I commend the revised syllabus to the members of the council.
Thank you. David Hare, would you like to...
I would agree that this is a very thorough work. It has taken a lot of time and had the input of a lot of people. And it, I believe, is a very fair way in which religious education will be taught, not just in Wokingham, but in all the unitaries